real quick because I forgot to start recording this. So there you go. Everybody can click their little button and then you can pick up and go from there.
Okay, cool. So we thought to ourselves, well, maybe this is just a trend for hackers in general from, it doesn't matter what country, it's just time of day, whatever, time of week. So then we said, let's lay over another country that we don't have any customers in, but is known for a certain level of attacks. And that would be Germany. So we took Germany and we put Germany in here. So this is the Germany line right here, the light mauve color, if you will. And it doesn't follow any of the same trending, right? So it's what leads me to believe, what I'm led to believe looking at these trend lines is that this is not just a hacking thing. It's not a hacking thing. This is a Russia-China thing, that they are right now somehow working in concert to attack SMBs right now. So I thought it was interesting information that we literally just captured today. So we wanted to, at least pass this along to everybody.
That's insane.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
So, pretty cool stuff. So we also have an offer that because of this and because we've seen this increased level of activity right now, we want to make sure that every MSP out there is able to cover their own SaaS, right? So if you're not, first of all, if you're an existing partner of ours, I don't know if we have any existing partners on right now, but existing partners know you always get to cover your own 365, IT Glue, Ninja tenants for free. Like whatever applications you use, you can use them for free. You can monitor those applications for free with SaaS alerts. Even if you're not a partner right now and you have no intention of becoming a partner anytime soon, if you want to be able to monitor your own 365, if you have IT Glue, great. If you have Ninja RMM, you can monitor that too. We're not going to charge you until June 30th. So we're giving that. We believe this is something that we can do to help people right now. There's absolutely zero obligation whatsoever. And again, it's free until June 30th. If you want to sign up for that, you just go to saasalerts.com, put in a promo code MSP free 90, and no questions asked, no strings. You can start monitoring your own stuff. And it will ask for a credit card. We're not going to rewrite our sign up process for this, but I can tell you that promo code basically kicks you out of our billing rotation. So that's that. So that is not the presentation that I was planning on sharing with you, but because we just got some of that information today, I wanted to highlight. So back to the main topic for today, which is the Microsoft 365 price increase. So Alex mentioned I'm the CEO of SaaS Alerts, but I'm a former MSP, been in the space since 2003. Most recently, I spent 4.5 years at Kaseya before last year I became the CEO of SaaS Alerts. Usually these two guys join me in this presentation. So you're just getting me today. I'm sorry to rip you off. And you get Alex color commentary too, which is always
they get all this good hair though. They're okay. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm going to show you a calculator today that we spent a lot of money on through this guy here, Jeff Meter. He's a principal over at Anchor PMM. We spent a lot of money with these guys. They're an independent product marketing company to develop a calculator specifically for MSPs around NCE. We'll walk you through that. So the objectives today is just to walk through really quick the importance of protecting 365 in the mindset around a price increase, demonstrate how every MSP can right size your customers' costs and protection. And this is the opportunity to do it, believe it or not. Share some go-to-market messaging and customer-facing materials if you want to use them. They're all generic. You're not going to find SaaS alerts on here. Again, we love what Alex does with Lifecycle Insights here. It's all about education and adding value. When we can do that as a community, everybody wins. So we want to be able to, share some stuff with you that we think that might not further our relationship between you and me, but it will help you in your efforts to bring on more customers and retain customers. So for those that are not familiar with SaaS alerts, we are the first ever real-time, it's important to emphasize real-time, SaaS application monitoring and alerting platform specifically built for MSPs. So we basically empower MSPs to be able to protect and monetize their customer SaaS-based applications, because we know that your customers are using SaaS-based applications. I mentioned before, what we're doing right now, we're adding 40 MSPs every single month. We're actually up to 395 MSPs. We process a lot of data every single day. Back when I was an MSP, I remember being able to charge $395 per user, $395 per on-prem Exchange server. When I was at Thrive Networks, it was a gravy train of profitability, right? That we could charge a customer to manage their on-prem Exchange, charge them $395. Those Exchange servers were pretty reliable, didn't have to do a whole lot. We made a lot of margin.
That's funny, because the first thing I did with them was migrate them over to Tony Francisco's hosted Exchange before 365 was a thing.
Well, you were taking advantage, and he was taking advantage back then of SPLA.
Right.
So, and that was also another great moneymaker for us, because we did hosted Exchange as well. And then somewhere along
in 16 and a half years, I supported one Exchange server for 45 days. That was it.
Wow.
We never supported Exchange in-house.
Wow. I can tell you, we made a lot of money.
Yeah.
At it.
I'll bet.
And I call those the good old days. And I see Greg smiling a little bit. I suspect that Greg made a lot of money on on-prem Exchange too. And by the way, we want this to be interactive. So I do a lot of webinars where people can't talk. You guys can talk. If you want to take yourselves off mute, feel free to jump in with commentary, questions, snide remarks, whatever you want. Alex sure does.
I still
So
support an on-prem Exchange.
what's that?
We still support an on-prem Exchange.
Really? For
Yeah.
how many customers?
25, 30 customers.
Holy smokes.
The users, 30 users.
Okay.
30 users.
I still have
for-
5 or 6 clients on Prem Exchange.
Wow.
Okay.
They've all agreed within the last year that it's time to move to 365, but they're planning for it finally.
Yeah.
Got it. And are you guys still
Ditto.
making some pretty good money off of those on-prem guys?
Pretty good.
No.
No,
No.
Greg's not. So you want to move them over?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that, certainly we've lost margin, I think, along the way in the MSP space, because Microsoft's figured out that a long time ago, people were making a lot of money off of Exchange. So they kind of put a stop to it, and they gave us 365, and they made the market. So obviously you can only charge so much for 365 these days. We think this is an opportunity to take some of that margin back, which is kind of funny in the context of a price increase, right? Like, how can you try to make more money and charge the customer more if most of that money is going to Microsoft, right? Well, that's where hopefully we can enlighten some folks, with this messaging. So first, I want to share a valuable lesson that I learned back when my MSP was acquired by Staples. So end of 2006, my MSP was acquired by Staples. And we were the first major acquisition in the space. And I had a boss by the name of Jay Baitler, who very seasoned professional. He was executive vice president of Staples Business Advantage, the business to business side of Staples, $5 billion business line he was in charge of. And he came to me a month into the acquisition and said, Jim, you need to condition your customers for a price increase every year. I'm like, whoa, man, like, you don't understand. Like, we're in a space right now where it's too much competition. Like, if I go to my customer base with a 10% increase every year, I'm done. Like, they're not gonna tolerate that. And he said, look, if you're adding value, articulating that value, making them understand the value that you're giving them every single day, they're not going to leave. Because here's the deal. Every year you're going to come to me and you're going to say, Bobby needs more money, Greg needs more money, Alex needs more money, and I have to then essentially give you a pool of money for merit increases. Where is that coming from? If you're not increasing your pricing, then it's coming out of your margins. So I walked away. It made sense, but I walked away from the conversation shaking my head and thinking the old man was crazy. Well, Jay was right. I was wrong. About 6 months into the relationship with Staples, we did a price increase and we only lost 3 customers out of 250. And there are 3 customers that we didn't even want.
We had a 3% increase baked into our contract every single year, even when they were under contract.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I share this story because I think just inherently people, specifically MSPs, when they hear price increase, they've got a paradigm about it. Like, oh no, this is gonna, there's no way we can do this. There's too much competition. I'm gonna get crushed. My customer's gonna hate me. But when you actually go out and do it, it's never as bad as you think it's gonna be. And that's a valuable lesson that I learned, really early on in my career. So don't be afraid of having this conversation with the customer. You just need to understand the value, make sure you're articulating that value to the customer. And the way we do that is in the context of cybersecurity, right? Like there's never been a better time right now than right now to sell cybersecurity. Like even my mom is 75 years old. She calls me up a couple nights ago when all this was going on with Ukraine, and she was asking me questions about cybersecurity and the banking system. I mean, people are really afraid of what is going on right now. And I don't think you should be opportunistic, but take the opportunity to educate folks and certainly understand the certain levels of protection and layers of protection they need. So when MSPs ask me, how can I separate my MSP from the crowd? How can I sell more cyber revenue and better protect my customers? I immediately turn the question back on them. I said, you need to ask yourself this. What are the technologies my end customers are leveraging the most? And I'm going to challenge you to be honest. Next question. Is my MSP doing everything we can to mitigate the risk associated with those technologies?
Are you flipping slides? Because we still see your old slide deck.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we've been slacking on you. You were having a great conversation though.
I was. Wait a second.
Did we miss a fancy slide or two?
A couple, yeah.
I kept waiting for the new slide deck to pop up. I was like, he's just on a roll. He's going to get to the slide deck when he gets to it.
So can you see that now?
Yeah, there we go. Price increases. We were still on thank you, and we were very thankful.
Okay, so
No, you had a staple story and everything. That was a whole slide deck. I thought you were just
This is
telling us a
like-
great story.
this is all the stuff you guys missed.
There's all the stuff we missed.
These 2 guys that aren't with me, the objectives from today. You got the traction from the company. I had a fancy server.
Look at you,
395
395
thing here.
exchange server. All right.
Yeah. The Staples logo. And now we're up to here.
Awesome.
So
Marnie would
My-
have caught that, but she left us unsupervised.
you don't get good, Alex, until
You
7:30.
should know better, Alex.
Right? She should know better.
So again, challenge yourself to answer these questions as honestly as you can. Is my MSP doing everything we can to mitigate the risk associated with these technologies? Okay, the technologies that your customers are leveraging the most. And then is my MSP doing everything we can to mitigate the risk for every single customer? Not just the ones that are raising their hand and asking for specific products and services, but every customer, right? Because we're really good at giving stuff to people when they ask for it. But what about saying, no, this is good for everybody, and you're all going to get it, and this is why you're going to get it. Okay. So if we're really being honest with ourselves, okay, here are the technologies that our customers are using the most. There's 300 million paid users on 365. I don't, every company I've been at over the last 15 years, I spend all my time, it's been a combination of 360 or Microsoft or Google Workspace. I've had it at both different companies, right? But even when I was at Kaseya, I spent all my days in 365 and Salesforce. And I access these applications through a web browser. I don't think I'm unique. Okay. These are the solutions, these are the applications, the technologies that your customers are using all day, every day. Maybe you don't have customers on Salesforce or Dropbox, but I guarantee you get a lot of customers on one of the 2 productivity suites up there, and most likely Zoom as well. And you got more people on Slack than you actually realize as well. So ultimately, how are we thinking about the evolution of our MSP practice and how you can deliver more value in the context of the evolution of the technologies your customers are using? So I'm going to ask you some more questions. Do you put an RMM agent on every device that you manage for your customers? Alex?
Yep.
Back in the day, you did?
Yep, we did.
Okay. So why?
Because if I can't see it in inventory, I sure as hell can't manage it. And, you know, we needed visibility.
Boom. Keyword, visibility. You're going to get another t-shirt when I see it. We'll give you the new one. Okay. Next question. So why are we not thinking about applications like 365 the same way?
Nobody told us to. But we're creatures of habit, right? We keep doing what we've been doing. And, you know, if we really sit and think about it, we probably wouldn't be deploying RMM agents as willy-nilly as we do, as much of a problem as they can be. But, right, you know, we're creatures of habit. We continue to do what's always worked.
Yep, exactly. But if we recognize that Microsoft truly is the most leveraged application in our customers' environment, why aren't we protecting it the same way we're protecting devices with an RMM agent?
So we make the assumption that Microsoft's got it under control.
Yeah, that's a great assumption.
Right. Oh, and you know, if we just it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. So we know the answer to this question is yes. But I also believe if positioned the right way, our customers agree with us. Like they know, like you may or may not tell them that you have agents on their devices. But if Alex is on vacation in Hawaii and he's got to send an email out, okay, he doesn't have his laptop, so he goes to the business center at the hotel. Obviously, there's not an RMM agent there, but he's logging into 365. Ultimately, as MSPs, we need to start following the user because the user can go anywhere and do anything from anything. So ultimately, the key messaging here is make sure the customer knows the importance of better protecting 365 and how important that is. And look, they understand an application that uses this much with that much of a threat vector associated to it needs protection. Make them understand the value that you can now provide securing 365. And then make sure they know, hey, look, you're the thought leader. You're the trusted advisor, MSP. So help them understand how you're going to right size their protection or right size their cost based on the needs of their business. So this is where Jeff will come in and talk about the calculator that his company created. Okay. Talking about right sizing. So I'm going to jump out of this presentation. I will come back to it. I will share. Let's see. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay. Because this is going to be awesome in you. Okay, can you see that?
Yep, there's your calculator.
Okay. So this is what we're calling the Microsoft Packaging Calculator for MSPs. It is specifically built for MSPs. We spent a fair amount of money, again, with a third party. We're not smart enough to put this together to help MSPs have these conversations. So you can see here, right, that I can change edit workbook. Okay. Okay. So now I can go ahead and I can change the product line for my customer, right? So Microsoft 365 for business, enterprise, Office 365 for enterprise, right? So we'll keep it at Microsoft 365 for business. And then that's obviously now I got to make another choice. Is it going to be basic, standard, premium? We like premium because it automatically includes that P1 license, and you can get a lot more from Microsoft if you've got that P1 license. And then every MSP is, they're going to have their own pricing with Microsoft, and if they're CSP direct or indirect or whatever the case may be. So you pick your own margin, right? So you have your drop downs for this. And then ultimately, do I want to include SaaS security monitoring to this bundle? Okay, so it would be yes or no. We'll keep it in there. And then ultimately you just put whatever price you want in there for your SaaS security monitoring.
This is the price the customer is going to see for it?
This is a customer. Yeah, this is a price the customer is going to see. Alex, our pricing.
That's why I was asking, because that looks like a lot higher than your price.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jim is a lot like Kelvin over at Cyberdrain. He doesn't like making money, so he gives his shit away for free and cheap. And so, yeah. When I heard you got charged for this, it's not enough, but I won't say that because these MSPs need it.
Yeah, it's a volume game.
Yeah.
Which always takes me back to I don't know if you remember the Saturday Night Live skit, the Change Bank.
No.
Have you ever seen this one? So anyone ever see the skit on Saturday Night Live, the Change Bank? It's one of the commercials they do, and they say, "Hey, we're the Change Bank. You can come in, with a 20, and we'll give you 2 10s. We'll give you 4 5s. We'll cut it up with $50. We'll give you 5 10s. Doesn't matter. Whatever your change needs are, we got you covered." People ask us, how do you make money? Volume.
Well, I hope you guys are doing better than that. I hope you guys are doing better than that.
Ultimately, we do slightly better than that, but our game is volume. So ultimately now I've picked everything I want for this customer, right? And we do think that 365 for business and with the premium product plan is a really good one. It gives good value. And now it's going to give you an output. Okay. So now you've got your custom package right here. And we're comparing it to 365 for enterprise, because if you want back here, you can select whatever you want, which of the packages you want to compare it to. Okay, so we're going to, and it's not all the packages, this is the most popular ones. So right here, I can say, okay, I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to compare it right next. I'm going to compare the E3 to my custom package, Business Premium. Okay, and then I'm going to be able to, what we've done is we've taken all of the features from these different packages and we put them into one place. I don't know if anyone's tried to do this yet. It's painstaking. Absolutely painstaking. So we think it's important if you're going to have a comparison, if you're going to have a conversation with a customer about which package they should be on, you should probably be able to tell them what features they're going to get and what features they're not going to get, right? So here you can scroll through. Again, first of all, you've got $25 per user per month for the custom package. That's going to be the $22 for business premium with your your P1 license plus $3 for SaaS security monitoring. You can see your percent margin here. Okay. This is what the customer would pay if they're getting E3. Okay. They're going to pay $11 more. Your margin on that is 18%. Okay. So then we want to do is we want to focus in on some of the security stuff. What's interesting here is that application guard for Office 365 is actually included in premium, and it's not included in any of these other packages except for E5. And then I scroll down a little bit further and I say, wait a minute, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. I'm not going to get it in premium, but I'm not getting into E3 either. It's not included. It is included in E5, but that's going to cost my customer $57. How many of your customers want to spend $57? And you don't need to, because you can scroll through and check out all the stuff that you get, with E5 that, quite honestly, your customers just don't need.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing about Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps is it's a good product. It's just not built for MSPs.
Right.
And there's a lot of components in that you might already be doing with other products. So now this is how you right size the cost and right size the protection for the customer. You can go to the customer and say, hey, look, Microsoft believes that this is important. They included it in their $57 package. We've done our homework and we have the third-party product that can actually do a lot of what it does on the SaaS security monitoring side. We're going to give you that, okay? But we're going to save you a lot of money in the process. We're going to save you the 36, we're going to save you $11 here, and we're going to save you here $32. So this is a way to have a conversation with a customer, and then it gives you an output comparison chart, right? And by the way, when I go back here, if you want to hide these, you can collapse these different margin lines so the customer doesn't see your margin, right? So you can just flat out just show them the price. They don't need to see your margin. Now I got the comparison summary, right? It gives me the breakdowns, numbers, and then it gives me some security packaging tips. It's all dynamic based on what I picked, right? If I'm packaging SaaS security monitoring in here, it's going to tell me, what's it say here. And then it shows me, again, this is all dynamic, what's excluded when I pick the business when I'm comparing against E3 versus what I have included and what I really need in the business premium side, right? So you can see here, I get Microsoft Defender for Office 365 Plan 1, Application Guard for Office 365, SharePoint, a terabyte at OneDrive, Exchange, I get 50 gigabytes in my mailbox. Those are all things the customer, needs, right? So now you can also show them this, right? So now you can print this out. By the way, you're not going to find SaaS alerts on any of this stuff from a branding perspective. This is for you. So now you're going to be able to say, okay, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we've selected a custom package that's right sized for your needs, your security needs, your productivity needs, and your budgetary requirements. Okay. And it's comprised of business premium. It's going to give you a P1 license. We're going to put a Microsoft security plan in there for you. And guess what? You're saving $11 off of an E3 package. So this is where you can add more margin and take money back. But it's all in how you, again, coming back to the Staples example, right? It's all depends on how you position this with the customer and your mindset around it, because we're adding more value.
So I'm confused, and I'm going to ask a question, and it might take some of the people on the call to answer this for me, because I hear a lot of MSPs say they standardize on E3.
Yep.
Is anybody on the call standardized on E3, and is there a reason for that? Like, I always thought that they were getting something extra by doing that, and the only place we ever sold it was in places where we were way over the number of licenses you could do in the business stuff. But it doesn't look to me like there's anything missing between business and E3.
And yeah, this is it. This is a money shot right here for your question.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So this is business premium, and this is what you're not getting, right? So the difference really is you get 50 more gigs of mailbox space with E3, but if you got 100 gigs in your email, look, I use my email as a repository.
Oh, the data hoarder. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I still don't even come close to that. Interactive mailboxes, if that's important to you. SharePoint plan, so unlimited OneDrive storage. Okay.
Versus a terabyte. Like, yeah, you don't have a lot of customers who are in that boat.
Right. And then sensitivity labeling for containers in 365. I don't think a lot of small businesses are using that.
I don't even know what it is, so I wasn't using it.
And then Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Plan 1.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is something that most people are doing outside of Microsoft, right? They have other solutions that they do.
When they're getting Defender, they're just getting a different Defender.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a great question you ask. It's a question everyone should be asking. I don't understand based on this why people are standardizing on E3. What I would do is
because nobody's masochist enough to go through Microsoft's entire licensing library and figure all this out.
That's probably a
Like,
really good point.
It's not a fun task.
No, look, I will tell you, we paid someone $10,000 to make this calculator.
I'm not sure I'd have done it for that. I mean, navigating Microsoft licensing has never been fun, and it gets even more complicated when you get into some of the cloud stuff.
Right. So I come back and say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I'm going to right size you. I'm going to right size your costs. I'm going to right size your protection. We're going to provide third-party monitoring for 365, and you may have other MSPs come in and tell you, look, we're going to charge you, for E3, but I want to save you $11 per user per month. So this is a calculator. We're giving this away. You don't have to be a partner to use this or to get this from us. So
if they want that, they can just send an email over to sales@sasalerts.com, right?
You know it.
Good deal. Put that back in the chat for those of you who got here a little bit late. You can follow Jim here. Got his LinkedIn out there so he can't get away from us. And email sales at sasalerts.com.
Cool. So I'm just going to now share some go-to-market strategy for you. Again, this says you're not going to find any SaaSalerts logos on here, right? Matter of fact, we've actually kept a logo and spot here for your logo and your contact information. This comes back specifically. Some people say, okay, Jim, this sounds great, but how do I exactly go out and get more margin for myself? How can I exactly articulate to the customer that I'm going to charge them more for security and make 83% margin on a $3 purchase? And here it is. So we basically developed these generic plans, Microsoft Security Plan and the Microsoft Security Plus plan. I know, pretty complex naming conventions we got going on here. Very creative in our marketing department. But it basically, these are just one-pagers, Alex. You're explaining to the customer that 365 is the most widely used productivity application in the world. With that amount of usage comes great risk. That's why we need to provide you with basic third-party monitoring of 365, right? And we're going to monitor over 50 different events in your 365 environment. These are the types of things we're going to monitor for, right? Bad actors logging in from outside approved locations, internal or external actors downloading excessive amounts of information, security policy changes, unauthorized devices in the environment, email forwarding rules. We know that the first thing bad guys do when they get access to an environment is they go right to email forwarding rules. So now this is a $3 plan. you can charge $3 for this and not lift a finger. Because you go to the customer and say, look, we're going to independently monitor this on your behalf. We're going to provide you, we're going to have a report land in your inbox the first day of every month, showing you all of the activity in your inbox, right? Or excuse me, in your Microsoft 365 tenant, in charts and graphs and commentary that makes sense. That's English, not tech speak. And then as part of our normal cadence with you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're going to actually explain what's going on in here, whether that's monthly or quarterly, or we'll explain what's going on. And Alex, I know you're like the master of telling people how to do business reviews, right? And you use lifecycle insights to do that.
So we were just working with a partner who, a coach who said his favorite thing about our tool is that it lets folks have boardroom conversations instead of server room conversations. And I thought that really exemplified bringing the tech speak down to English, right?
Amen. Amen. And then lastly, as part of this plan, you can go to the customer and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're going to put the 365 in 365. What do I mean by that? Well, all those plans we just looked at, with the exception of E5, the default log retention is 30 days. E5 gives you 90 days. If you're using a SaaS alerts, if you're using a SaaS security monitoring tool like SaaS alerts, we give you 365 days worth of data retention. Why is that important? Well, because if there's ever a breach, you need to go back in time, look at root cause analysis. You can now do that. If you have an employee that maybe left the organization 6 months ago, all of a sudden this week I see him on LinkedIn at a competitor. You know what? Maybe I want to go back and take a look at that, what that guy was up to before he left the organization. You can now do that and go back and do that level of analysis for your customer. We've already had this happen numerous times. Customers love it. So you have that ability. You can do this for $3 and not actually do any of the real-time monitoring and alerting. And then we've got the Microsoft Security Plus plan. This is everything that's in this plan, except you are doing real-time monitoring and remediation of the events as they occur. You're limiting things like guest user accounts and orphan links. We're seeing people charge between $5 and $10 per user per month for this. This is what I'm talking about, being able to take margin back, right? So this is, just a screenshot. Alex, you've seen our reports before.
I love this
screenshot. This is showing all the bad actors in the world that are trying to get into your SaaS-based, your SaaS application. In this case, 667 total attacks, and you've got 31 files at risk. This is how easy it is to schedule these reports. This is why it's basically, there's no labor associated with a $3 plan whatsoever. You just say, okay, I'm going to send a report on a recurring basis. This is going to be monthly. I'm going to pick the name of the report, and I'm going to send it to Alex at Lifecycle Insights. Boom, it's going to show up in your inbox the first day of every month, Alex. Okay, that's how easy it is. So that's a great way to add more margin, right? And have these conversations with your customers. Another great conversation to have with a customer is taking advantage of your position as a trusted advisor or thought leader. And some of us have struggled over the years, really trying to, attain that status with the customer. I know, Alex, Lifecycle, you help people attain that status, right? With what you're able to give them in the, boardroom stuff. This does the same thing. Okay. We know, based on everything that we track on our platform, that the #1 third-party application that people log into with their 365 credentials is Zoom. So what's wrong with that?
Well, they've used Teams and they know how shitty it is.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they're double paying.
Yeah.
For the same level of functionality. So if I'm an MSP and I know this, and I know that my customer is using Zoom, I can go to them and say, hey, look, we got this price increase. Let's try to offset some of the costs. Okay. So what we've done is we've created this, you automatically get Teams with your 365 package. Okay. So this is what Teams gives you. Do you really need the capacity to go up to 1,000 people, or is 300 okay? 300 for most people is going to be okay. Right. And then you go through the rest of these, features, and it's negligible in terms of what the differences are. So save the money, kill Zoom, and just have them use Teams.
And this is a great opportunity too. We talk a lot about identifying all these extra technology licenses and subscription costs and all the other money that your client is spending on. Put this on their technology budget. Go list this as a subscription service under contracts and subscriptions if they're paying for Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever else. Get those things listed out there, because that's how you can find these kind of savings.
100%.
I've got one client that refuses to ditch Zoom, even though they're paying for Office.
I wouldn't do it. I'll pay for Zoom. I think it's a better product, but that's personal preference, right? And that's their money. They can spend it how they want. You get to have the thought leadership conversation of, hey, just so you know, this other thing's out there. The same goes for Asana, Airtable, Jira, anything else that looks like Microsoft Planner but doesn't behave as nicely. Planner is a fantastic application. And could replace a lot of expense for folks. So there's another one you can add to your slide deck, Jim.
You're making more work for me, dude.
Right. Well, I'm sure there's more work for your marketing guy, but whatever.
Yeah. So, but you're absolutely right. Our job is to present the information and position ourselves as the trusted advisor and thought leader, not to tell them necessarily what to do. Right. I like Zoom better too. I think it's a better product. If I'm doing webinars, I'd much rather do Zoom. So keep one Zoom license for webinars, right, and let everyone use Teams for all the chats they're doing.
Internal stuff, internal meetings, that kind of stuff. Yep.
Right. So if you want the calculator, if you want these these security plan one pagers, by the way, Zomentum with us is free. Anyone that knows Zomentum, if you sign up with us, we automatically give you a free Zomentum license. We'll give you the Teams versus Zoom comparison chart. So if you want these, just email us at sales@saasalerts.com. Let us know you want them, and we'll send them to you. No strings attached. No issue there. And then if you want to sign up for a 30-day free trial with us because you want to offer this to your customers, right? There's no obligation, unlimited users. And again, it's just 50 cents per user per month. One thing we are doing too, we're doing lunch and learns for our customers, for our MSP's customers, right? So I'm doing a lunch and learn for an MSP in a couple of weeks. They're inviting all of their customers to it. I'm on as a SaaS security expert and explaining to them why they need this. We're willing to do that for more partners if they want. So let's go through our objectives. Hopefully we covered them in your eyes. We discussed and highlighted the importance of protecting 365, highlighted the importance of increasing pricing and the need ultimately to make margin, to take back some margin. We've highlighted the new Microsoft 365 pricing packages and feature comparisons via the calculator. We shared the go-to-market strategies and materials to help you hopefully talk through this stuff with your customers. So
we got one question for you, Jim. Is there a minimum number of users?
200 users.
Okay.
So it's $100.
200 users.
$100 a month.
Yep.
And with that, you're getting your own tenant free, right? So if you've got 365 or IT Glue, or we do Ninja RMM now. We'll have some of the other RMMs in there, too. But
you do ConnectWise as well today. ConnectWise and Autotask, is it?
So we integrate with those. So
okay.
If you're using, essentially the way the platform works is SaaS Alerts kicks off an alert and it shows up. If you want to integrate it, it shows up as a ticket. So
you're not actually monitoring logins to those today?
No, not today. We will. We will, but not yet.
Good deal.
Yeah. So
questions, guys, feel free to pop your mute off and hop on and pepper Jim with your questions if you got them. Hopefully we got you guys some sales tools you can use today. The infographics, once you get them made for your MSP, don't hesitate to reach out to us and ask questions about how we can get them in the platform. We've been putting infographics in the platform the last couple of days and playing with it ourselves. I can show you just real
Really?
quickly. I'm going to steal Jim's screen share. But we've been playing with what it looks like to stick an infographic in Report Builder. I grabbed one of Jim's off a screenshot. It's really tiny because his screenshot was really tiny, but if you had a full size image of this, you could paste it in the platform so that as you talk through that pain point with your customer, it just lives on the same agenda as everything else you're doing. So, and all that is a screenshot in a text block template. There's a couple tricks to get it to center on the page and some things like that. But if you guys want to talk about that, either we can talk about it next week on this call, or you can just ping me offline and I'll be happy to walk through it with you.
James, is there a monthly contract?
So right now we have year agreements.
Okay.
So, and for the $100 a month, our pricing, we're launching remediation in probably April at this point. Our pricing will go up at that point a little bit, but that's also a module that you can opt in or out of. But it's going to save people a ton of time because you'll be able to remediate right out of the application instead of diving into the Microsoft tenant to do stuff.
So if you see a tenant get breached by somebody who logged into it out of Russia, you'll be able to take remediative
In that
action
situation,
platform, or
in that situation, we're using AI or machine
Oh, nice.
learning to basically automatically lock the account for you.
Okay.
At this point, we're seeing 5 million events per day. we know what a breach looks like.
Yeah.
Our system has learned it, so we will, on your behalf, lock it, giving you the time, right, to be able to
do the next
notify
thing.
the customer and do what you need to do, right?
Yep.
That's why early on I said I emphasize real time.
That's cool.
I talked to some folks and they review tools that update every 4 to 8 hours. Like it's not that's not streaming information, that's state or configuration information. And for those purposes, it's fine. But if you're building a cybersecurity offering, a lot can happen in 4 to 8 hours. So you need to be able to act on behalf of your customer a lot quicker than that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So but we
Awesome.
people, if you want, again, even if you don't want to use us for your customers, if you want to use us for yourself, then then through June, feel free to do that and just go to our website and put us at MSP free 90, and we're happy to protect you.
I feel like that this is going to be an eye-opening enough experience that they're going to buy it anyway.
We get good feedback on the product.
Good answer. All right. So with that, guys, I do have a hard stop at 4 o'clock today, so we got to run. But I appreciate everybody coming out. I was a few minutes late to hit the record button, but I will have Marnie send out the recording with Monday morning's email. So if you missed anything, sans the first 5 minutes or so, it should be in the recording. So with that, have a great one.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thanks,
coming,
everybody.
everybody. Very much
Appreciate it.
Take care.